everybody. Hey, it's Suzanne James here. Welcome to my Thursday Live, the weekly mindset show. How are you all doing? How has your week been? Drop me a hey in the comments if you are here live, or just put a hashtag replay. And don't be shy, please say hello, come and join in and have a chat with me today, so that you're just sat there watching. Please just come in and say a hey. Because today I'm going to talk about, when those obstacles get chucked in your way and you kind of feel a little bit like, you feel a bit derailed, that life has kind of thrown a few things in your way and you've kind of gone off track a little bit. So I'm going to give you some tips today to get you back on track. Right, let's just see what's coming through. Say hey if you are here live. Just drop a hey in the comments there. So for me, it's been a funny couple of weeks. I find September itself, less easy. It's a little bit challenging for me because it's the build up to the anniversary of, when I lost my mom. So it will be 23 years tomorrow since I lost my mom. And so even though it's been a long, long time, hey Ahmed, although it's been a long, long time, I know that my emotions do go out of kilter leading up to it. My son also went back to uni last week, which has kind of added to all of the emotions and that empty nest syndrome. Hey Shanta, I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you are doing okay, lovely. It's been a funny couple of weeks. All of the emotions sort of came up last week when my son went off. But saying that, my husband and I actually went away for the weekend. We had a fab weekend away and really chilled out and recharged our batteries. It was actually really glorious weather as well. So we had a great time. So for me, I kind of know the signs when it's time for me to take a break. And that was certainly one of them. And what I've also noticed in my coaching programs that I'm running, that again over the last sort of week or so, a few of my ladies have also had some obstacles get in their way, things that have been thrown at them, some personal stuff that's happened, or business stuff that's been happening that has kind of sent them off track too. So I've noticed, that we all know, don't we? We all know that stuff, when it's thrown at us, it can be really, really challenging. Now, we also know that life does have a habit, doesn't it, of kind of throwing things in our path. It's just life, isn't it? It is just life. So life is full of uncertainty. So, it's full of things going on. We have things going. It's not a straight line, is it? All hunky-dory. So when life chucks those boulders in your way, it can send us into a real tailspin. So I've got some tips for you today that, are going to help you get through these times. Because like I said, I've been there. I think we all, it happens to everybody. And the more that we can kind of get ourselves used to dealing with these situations and acknowledging when we are a little bit out of kilter, with some strategies to actually deal with it, I think you'll find then that actually, you have a much smoother ride. So, firstly for me, I just wanted to start off by saying that, one thing that has come out of times when I've had real challenges, and obviously, for me, I know that I have had some real challenges, like everybody, but, the one thing that I've found is what I've discovered things about myself. I know for me, because what has happened, I know that I'm really strong at the core. I know that I'm a lot calmer under pressure than I ever thought I would be. I'm actually really great in a crisis. I've got an incredibly... Sorry, I've got a real tickle in my throat today. Excuse me, just a minute. I know that I'm incredibly positive. I stay really positive and stay really focused. And actually, I think for me, I'm actually quite impressed by how much that I can actually handle. I've actually used my biggest adversities to be my biggest motivators. And that may be the same for you. You know, you might have had some stuff that's happened that's actually been the turning point for you, has been the driving force for you. So, you know, that might be so. Let me know if that is something that, you know, is for you, or, well, just let me know in the comments there. So just because something kind of unexpected, maybe, you know, temporarily knocks the wind out of you, it doesn't mean that your life is over. And that you're never then going to achieve the things that you want to achieve in your life, or, you know, that you're doomed to fail, and that you're going to struggle for the rest of your days, type of thing. It doesn't mean that. So for me, I actually believe that if things don't go to plan, you know, that actually it's because there's something much bigger and better waiting around the corner for me now. So I want you to also think about that. I don't want you to write yourself off. You know, when these things come in get thrown into your path, which they are going to, I don't want you to write yourself off. Take a few breaths to start with. And then I'm also, so it actually came up with Deepak Chopra, something that I'm very familiar with. And Deepak Chopra also talks about the law of least effort, which is basically about, you know, not resisting. And having acceptance. And he actually explains that when you struggle against the moment, you're struggling against the entire universe, which is obviously not a great thing to do. So I also want you to think about that, you know, you can wish for so many, lots of different things in the future. But at this moment in time, you have to accept things as they are. And then you can do things about them. So do something, you know, don't keep fighting against something. Don't keep fighting against it. Do something kind for yourself. You know, in times of real stress and struggle, hey Pauline, in times of real stress and struggle, your own personal care might be the last thing on your priority list. But it really shouldn't be. So you need to tune into your own body and your own mind. What is it telling you? Taking time out to treat yourself to something that makes you feel really great really does help with the healing process. Hey Bonita, nice to see you. You know, so I want you to think about that. Press the reset button on your brain. Take a break. You know, go for a walk. Do something just for you. Whether it's, you know, go and having a coffee or whatever it is that is your bit. Just acknowledge when you are feeling like that and actually do something about it. So do something for you. That's why for me, you know, it was really important for me and my husband for us to take time away at the weekend. It was smack bang in the middle of kind of coming up to the anniversary of my mum and my son going off to university. So we knew things were all over the place. So I booked that in. I knew it was all coming and I booked it in. And I did it for us. You know, it was something really great for us. And it makes a big difference to you. The other tip I want to give you is to also allow yourself some worry time. This might sound a little bit bizarre, but I want you to actually schedule it in to your diary a specific time, and call it your worry time or your feelings time or your brain dump time, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, it's when you can actually schedule it in the specific time that you're going to empty all your feelings out. Empty out what's in your head. Empty out all of the worry, or, you know, what are you thinking? When you go in the what if scenarios, empty it all out, put it on a piece of paper at a specific time. So book it in your diary and then write it all down. So that means then you're not going to be distracted all the time. You know, so you actually empty out at a specific time. I know for me, when things are playing on my mind, so I know that during September, you know, things are going to be playing on my mind. You know, then I might wake up in the night, you know, my head's really full. I've got things going all the way through my head. And you're just literally going over and over and over things. You know, you get a wave of sickness coming up and the worry can take over. So by allowing yourself that specific time where you can brain dump all the worry and acknowledge all your feelings, ask the questions of yourself, what is it that's really going on for you? What is it that I'm really worried about? Rather than everything playing on your mind. So allowing you this specific time means that you can then get cracking on with the rest of your day, rather than allowing worry to take over everything, because that's what happens, when we keep on going over and over and over things, it just becomes, it's all consuming. So actually, for me, if I know it's all going on, I've got it scheduled in my diary and I brain dump it all out. And then I can kind of, I've pushed that to one side and I can crack on. So it's a really, really useful tip. The other thing when you've kind of then done that exercise is shift your focus to the positive. Instead of dwelling on all of the things that you haven't got, shift your focus to the good things and to the things that you've already still got in your life. I know for me, I'm incredibly grateful for everything that I've got in my life. So even when I'm down, I know that I've still got a huge amount to be grateful for. I've got a wonderful family, a wonderful husband, friends, my home, my health, So even when things are really bad and you're down, if you've just lost your job, for instance, because I know that is, that's happening for people right now. If, I know that's kind of trivial, it might sound like it's trivializing it, which I'm not at all. But what I'm saying is, if you've still got your health and your well-being, you've still got a huge amount to be grateful for. So focus on that and shift your attention to what you have got rather than all the things that you haven't got. Oh, Pauline, so it's perfect timing for you today. Absolutely great. I hope these all work for you and help you. Hey Simone, lovely to see you. So Chantal, you like the idea of allowing time to experience less positive emotions, acknowledging them, then moving on. Absolutely. It gets it all out of your head and it really shifts your focus, because you've also got to allow yourself to, when things are constantly coming up, it means that it's something you've not dealt with. So by allowing yourself that time, you can allow, and we're talking about your unconscious mind here, not just your conscious thinking, it's the stuff that's going on under the surface. So it allows you then to actually process that information. It's a really, really simple technique. So Sonia, you've had a massive personal change this year and found a massive inner strength and coping mechanisms. I can't read the rest of it. I'll read that later. But that is brilliant that you've now found that inner stuff within you. And that's actually, for me, that was, I'm great that you found it too, Sonia. It's certainly something that really, really worked for me. Chantal, you need to practice gratitude regularly. Yeah, it's get yourself into just a little pattern and just start off with one thing. Just look around you right now. And just think of all the things that you've got around you, and then just kind of, be grateful for that as your starting point. It's really, really useful. But it's a great way of actually shifting these negative thoughts that are, popping up into your positive. Okay, and the other thing, it kind of links into that one a little bit there, is to come away from victim mode. Come away from victim mode, because it just drains your energy, just drains you. You may feel that you've been treated unfairly and, things have happened to you, but I want you to resist the urge to cast blame. It just gives away your power when you do that. So actually, just think about coming away from that, coming away from blaming. And almost, just I'm not saying that you need to then blame yourself for things that have happened. I certainly don't mean that one. But come away from the temptation to play the victim or to cast the blame, because it's so very disempowering and it really does drain your energy. So take things at face value as well. Take things at face value, because we often link things and we kind of then take on a bit of an identity, So by taking things at face value, it allows you to stop linking your sense of self, to what has actually happened, your identity. So think about the bigger picture. if this is a glitch, will this glitch matter in the long run? It's probably not. It might slow you down right now. It might cause you to reevaluate and change directions, but more often than not, it's not going to cause that kind of irreparable damage. This is going to free up your energy if you take on this kind of looking at it more holistically and taking that bigger picture view. It kind of allows you to then, frees up your energy and opens up more possibilities and better circumstances for you that you can actually, you can deal with, rather than that tunnel vision as well, with that. And this, also think about focusing on what you can control. Because when things kind of don't happen the way that we want them to, when obstacles are kind of thrown in our way, and you often are feeling like, oh God, nothing can go right for me. And usually the reason that we find it so painful for us is because of the loss of control. It feels like we've got no control over what is happening to us. So, whenever you feel like that, whenever you kind of feel like really helpless because of something, turn your attention to the things that you can control. Only worry about things that you can control and that you can then change. Because otherwise you'll literally end up, taking the world and all of the woes of the world on your shoulders. So really only focus on what you can control, because when it's in your control, you can change it. If it's not in your control, let it go. Just let it go. So by doing what you can with what you have right now, wherever you are, you'll begin to gradually then get yourself back into control. And the other thing is, it is also to think about just having an open mind about things, having that open mind, because again, we can I think when something happens, we can kind of make it out to be an absolute disaster. That it's a massive thing, and we kind of like make it out into it's a huge disaster, and we can't do nothing about it. So again, keep that open mind to, things that are happening. So as Sonia was just saying there about, she got coping mechanisms out of the changes that have happened to her. And what I sort of said at the beginning about challenges that I faced, I've kind of made me a better person because of it. So keep that open mind, because sometimes things are a bit in disguise, aren't they? What looks as though it's complete disaster for us, like redundancy, for instance, can actually turn out to be, a really, really great opportunity for us. So if you didn't have that, that opportunity, that open mind, you would literally miss those opportunities. You used to be everything you describe until you did NLP and practice what you're saying. I'm a different person. Absolutely. I'm so glad, Sonia. I'm so glad that you do that. As you know, I'm obviously, NLP is my thing. It absolutely is. It can change you. The great thing about NLP is it puts you back in control of your own mind. And, if things aren't working, you've got all of the tools to actually change that. Yay, Pauline, you need to get started on your NLP. You really do. Okay, so, actually, just on that one, and just thinking about sort of NLP and kind of, moving into that one a little bit, is that actually the one key thing about NLP is that it's solution focused. It's one of the core themes of NLP when we're talking about that. And I think the other thing that we find when we're really, really stressed, and things are all happening to us, we often try and analyse, overanalyse a situation or the circumstances around us. We try and make sense of what's happened, and we're looking for answers that then keep us stuck in the past. You know, we kind of then use the why question a lot. You know, why has this happened to me? Why would they do that? Why did this happen? You know, and we're asking why. Now, the problem with that is it causes us to go over that negative situation over and over again, almost reliving it again for ourselves. And this is where we can end up in that negative spiral. You know, we start losing control there when we're doing that. So I want you to, again there, you know, think about what sort of questions that you can actually ask yourself that are going to move you forwards, that are actually going to be spiral upwards questions rather than spiral downward questions. You know, things like, what else could I have done? What do I need to do to get through this? You know, what will get me what I want? What's the solution? Because again, NLP is solution focused. So what is the solution? Ask yourself, what's the solution? What can I learn from this? Where's the opportunity in this? What do I really want? You know, so when you're asking, you ask yourself those what questions, you become, you know, back in control. You're moving forward rather than going into that downward spiral that can really easily happen when, you know, we're in times of crisis or times of stress. I also want you to think about there that, you know, to just get yourself back out there. You know, you might find that when things are happening to you, you just want to kind of curl up in a ball, put the, you know, the big cozy blanket around yourself and go and hibernate. But, you know, I don't want you to do that. I want you to still get out there, because actually, you know, it's not going to be, this is only going to be a temporary thing for you. If you still want to go out for things, you know, don't let those setbacks, any setback, whether it's small or big, don't let them derail you completely. You know, remind yourself that you've survived stuff before, that you've been successful before. You know, when all the little niggly things start coming in, that you're not good enough, or, you know, whatever, or things are happening, or when it always happens to me, things like that, you know, just remind yourself you've got through stuff before and you're going to do it again. You're going to do it again. So, you know, think about that. When have you had to go through change before? When have you gone through something really bad and come out surviving and thriving on the other side? Write it down so that you start to notice that you're more than capable of doing all of this stuff. You really are. So take the time to actually acknowledge that. Embrace the stuff that's going on for you. You know, take that step back and give yourself that time to process it. But then, you know, you're kind of going to embrace it. Get yourself back on the horse. Get yourself back out there, rather than kind of, you know, almost wallowing in everything and letting it all to get back on top of you. The more that you can actually handle the kind of things that are thrown at you, and, you know, the little blips, the big blips, the more you've got these strategies in place to actually deal with them, the better you're going to be. And you can then, you know, you can then deal with them rather than letting them completely send you off track. You'll be able to get back to what you do best. You know, you're going to get back to doing what you do best, which is, you know, what do we say? You're a badass fab female and that you are on the rise. So you can get back to being that person. You know, life is going to happen. Life's going to happen to us. But we can't let it, you know, steer us away from our true desires, our true dreams. Have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday, everybody. You know, please let me know if there were, you know, what you found useful in the live today. You know, what are the kind of the biggest takeaways for you? Please do let me know. I'd love to hear from you as to what you found really useful. And I'll see you again next week. Have a lovely weekend as well, guys. See you later.